Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This week, we're digging into something specific, excerpts from the Tesla Q3 earnings call.
That's right. But not the whole thing. We're focusing just on the CEO's opening strategic remarks.
Yeah, so forget the quarterly numbers for a minute. This is about the big picture, the conceptual framework he laid out for Tesla's next decade.
Exactly. Our mission here is really to dissect that vision. How does he connect the dots between cars, energy, and, well, robots? We want to understand the strategic bets they're placing right now.
And the message seemed pretty clear, didn't it? That Tesla's at this critical inflection point.
Moving or trying to move from just being a car company to potentially an AI and energy infrastructure player. It's a significant pivot he's signaling.
It's fascinating how he's trying to weave these, frankly, very different operations into one narrative.
Well, the thread he uses to tie it all together is AI. That seemed to be the core argument in these opening remarks.
Right. That everything deciding to build more factories, developing a humanoid robot, it all flows from their confidence in their AI, specifically what he calls real-world AI.
Precisely. It's the foundation for everything else he discussed.
Okay, so let's jump into that first piece then, segment one. AI, and how it links to ramping up production. He made a really bold claim right off the bat.
He did, saying Tesla is the leader in real-world AI, possessing the highest intelligence density in any car AI out there.
So what does that actually mean, intelligence density? Is that just marketing speak, or is there substance there?
Well, the way he frames it, it's about AI operating effectively in the messy, unpredictable physical world, not just, in a data center.
Yeah.
The intelligence density part seems to refer to the sheer amount and, importantly, the quality of real-world sensory data they're processing from millions of cars already on the road.
So it's about the data moat they've built.
Exactly. That's presented as their key competitive advantage, this massive, continuous stream of real-world driving data.
And that data, that advantage, feeds directly into their plans for full self-driving, FSD, and the robotaxi concept.
Correct. He described the potential rollout as a kind of shockwave.
A shockwave. Explain that metaphor.
The idea is simple, but potentially powerful. They already have millions of compatible cars out there globally.
Right.
Once they reach what he calls unsupervised FSD clarity, the point where the car truly drives itself without needing human oversight, those millions of cars can instantly become autonomous vehicles.
Just through a software update.
Exactly. It's not like needing to build and deploy a whole new fleet from scratch. It's activating latent capability in existing assets. A massive, almost instantaneous update.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting from a business strategy perspective. He directly linked achieving that FSD clarity to major decisions about building factories.
Yes, that was a crucial connection he made. He explicitly said he was reticent, his word, to really push for massive production expansion until they felt certain about hitting that unsupervised FSD milestone.
But now, he feels they have that clarity, or are close enough.
It seems so. Based on that perceived clarity, he stated they now feel confident enough to greenlight expanding future production as quickly as we can.
Wow, so achieving unsupervised FSD isn't just a tech goal. It's literally the trigger for the next huge phase of manufacturing investment.
That's the significance. It's the go signal for potentially billions in capital expenditure. It also, raises questions.
Like how risky that is.
Exactly. How risky is it to tie your entire global manufacturing ramp-up, this enormous financial commitment, to the successful, timely delivery of a single, extremely complex software system?
It's definitely not conventional, tying hardware scale to software milestones like that.
Highly unconventional for the auto industry. It suggests they believe the demand once that FSD capability is unlocked and the car becomes potentially an earning asset.
That demand will be so huge that normal production worries almost don't matter.
That seems to be the underlying assumption. The confidence in FSD dictates the entire capital and manufacturing plan going forward. It fundamentally changes the nature of the product.
Okay, so FSD confidence drives car production. But more cars, especially electric ones, potentially robo-taxis running constantly, that needs a lot of power. Which brings us to the energy side.
Right. And he dedicated a good portion of his remarks to the energy business, talking about Powerwall, but really focusing on the Megapack grid storage unit.
He used the U.S. grid as a key example, didn't he?
Yeah, to illustrate the potential impact. He pointed out the U.S. has about, 1 terawatt of total continuous power capacity, but on average, we only use about half of that. maybe 500 gigawatts.
Yeah.
Because usage fluctuates so much, peaks during the day, drops overnight.
So there's a lot of idle capacity.
A huge amount. And his main point, the big takeaway he stressed for utilities and grid operators was this:
that batteries, grid-scale batteries like Megapack, could effectively let us use that idle capacity.
Precisely. He claimed battery storage could effectively double the energy output in the United States just with batteries building no incremental power plants.
Which is a powerful argument, because
Yeah.
building new power plants is, well, it's incredibly hard.
It's slow, it's expensive, faces huge regulatory hurdles, permitting nightmares, you name it.
Right.
So battery storage offers leverage. It lets utilities get more out of their existing power plants, whether they're fossil fuel, solar, or wind, by storing energy when demand is low and releasing it when demand is high. Acts like a buffer.
And Tesla wants to be the main supplier of those buffers.
That's the positioning. They're aiming to be the critical enabler for unlocking all this latent grid capacity, helping modernize the grid much faster than building new transmission lines or power stations.
And it wasn't just about the concept. He mentioned a specific hardware upgrade coming too.
Yes, the upcoming Megapack 4. This is important because it represents a further step in vertical integration and simplifying things for the customer.
How so? What's different about the Megapack 4?
Okay, so currently, installing large battery systems often requires building or heavily modifying a complex electrical substation nearby to handle things like voltage conversion and grid connection.
Right, which adds cost and time.
A lot of cost and time. The Megapack 4 aims to integrate many of those substation components directly into the battery unit itself. It's designed to output directly at 35 kilovolts.
So you wouldn't need a separate bespoke substation build in many cases.
That's the goal. It radically simplifies the deployment. It reduces the customer's capital expenditure, speeds up the installation timeline significantly, and removes major engineering and regulatory headaches.
Making it almost like plug and play at a very high voltage level.
Pretty much. It's a significant potential advantage over competitors who might just supply the battery cells or modules, leaving the complex integration to the customer.
That makes sense. Easier deployment means faster scaling. Okay, so we have AI driving car expansion and scaled energy solutions to power it all. Now let's pivot to the most, let's say, audacious part of the vision, the Optimus robot.
Yeah, the humanoid robot project. He acknowledged it's a difficult project, didn't shy away from the challenge.
But in the same breath, called it potentially the biggest product of all time. That's quite a statement.
It is. And again, connecting back to that central AI theme, he argued Tesla has a unique combination of ingredients to succeed where others might fail. He laid out 3 specific advantages.
Okay, what are those 3?
First, obviously, the real-world AI expertise they're developing for FSD. He sees direct transferability.
From navigating streets to navigating, say, a factory floor or a home.
That seems to be the idea. Second, their electrical and mechanical engineering capabilities honed from building complex cars and energy products.
Oh.
And third, crucially, their proven ability to scale manufacturing to millions of units.
Which is key because, as he pointed out, there's no existing supply chain for humanoid robots.
Exactly. You can't just call up suppliers for robot arms and legs the way you can for car parts. They'll have to leverage their manufacturing muscle and vertical integration to build most of it themselves.
And he specifically mentioned that he wasn't aware of other U.S. car companies working on this.
He did make that point, suggesting they have a unique focus here, at least among traditional automakers in the U.S.
Did he give any indication of, like, when we might see a more advanced version?
He did. He projected an unveiling for the next iteration, Optimus V3, possibly in Q1.
Okay.
And he set expectations very high visually, said it should be quite remarkable, looking so realistic. His phrase was like, a person in a robot suit.
Wow.
To the point where you might feel compelled to, quote, poke it to confirm it's actually a robot. So clearly aiming for a very visually impressive demonstration to build confidence.
But beyond the hardware, there was a fundamental shift in how he framed the company's entire purpose.
Right.
Moving the mission itself.
Yes, that was perhaps the most profound part of the strategic remarks. Moving the company's stated mission from accelerating sustainable energy
to enabling sustainable abundance.
Sustainable abundance. It's a very different framing.
What does that actually mean in practical terms? Is it just rhetoric, or does it signal something deeper?
I think it provides the philosophical underpinning for the massive investment in Optimus. The argument goes something like this. If you have humanoid robots like Optimus that can perform almost any labor task,
then the cost of labor effectively drops towards zero.
Exactly. And if labor becomes nearly free and infinitely scalable, you unlock a level of productivity the world has never seen. That's the abundance.
And the vision tied to that is pretty utopian. He talked about a world with potentially no poverty.
Where scarce resources, particularly skilled labor, become universally accessible because robots can do the work. He even used the example of Optimus potentially becoming an incredible surgeon.
So the idea is everyone can have access to the best medical care or the best anything because robots provide the labor.
That's the extreme long-term vision he painted. Now, what does that mean for strategy today? It defines the potential market size as effectively infinite.
Because if you eliminate labor constraints,
You fundamentally change global economics, demand for goods, services, energy. It could all grow exponentially. So this mission of sustainable abundance is basically saying the main historical limit on economic growth, which is labor cost and availability, is about to be broken.
which in turn justifies almost any level of investment today in the technologies, AI, robotics, energy, that could unlock that future.
Precisely. It's the ultimate long-term justification for the capital spend.
Okay, so let's try to synthesize all this. We've got car production ramping up, driven by confidence in their AI for self-driving.
Right.
We have the energy business scaling up, with technology designed to make deployment easier and capture more value from existing grids. And then we have the Optimus Robotics project, aiming to fundamentally change the equation of labor and create this abundance.
And the crucial insight, the thing that connects all these seemingly separate verticals, cars, energy, robots, is AI. That's the common thread.
The confidence from FSD development unlocks the manufacturing scale for cars.
That manufacturing know-how gets applied to simplify and scale megapack deployment.
And both the AI advancements and the manufacturing capability are seen as the key, maybe non-replicable ingredients needed for something as ambitious as Optimus.
Exactly. It's presented as a highly unified, long-term strategic vision where progress in one area directly enables or accelerates progress in the others, a sort of virtuous cycle.
It really is a remarkable attempt to consolidate everything under one strategic umbrella,
Yeah.
driven by that core AI capability.
Yeah. The short-term focus seems to be hitting that FSD clarity to unlock the expansion. The long-term bet is on this vertically integrated approach leading to societal abundance.
Okay. Well, as we wrap up this deep dive, let's leave you, our listener, with something to think about. A final provocative thought.
Right.
The CEO painted this picture of sustainable abundance, a future where poverty might be eliminated thanks to an army of intelligent, productive robots. It sounds appealing on the surface.
It does.
But think about the scale required. The manufacturing, the resources, the control needed to build and deploy robots on that level. What critical element, beyond just inventing the technology, needs to be addressed?
You mean to ensure that this technology intended to eliminate scarcity?
Doesn't just end up massively concentrating wealth and resource control in the hands of the few who own the robot factories and the AI. How do you ensure abundance is actually abundant for everyone?
That's a huge question. It touches on everything from material sourcing and supply chains for the robots themselves, to energy distribution, to the economic and social structures needed to manage such a transition. The logistics of abundance, you could say.
Definitely food for thought.
Yeah.
How do you build not just the tech, but the framework for equitable distribution?
A challenge maybe even bigger than building the robot itself.
Indeed. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into Tesla's strategic roadmap, as laid out in those opening remarks.
And until next time, keep exploring the implications of scaling real-world AI, not just the technology, but what it means for how we organize our world.